Hallå, hi. What's that sound? I'm Maja. You can find me as sjomajlin on Ravelry and Instagram and YouTube. And this is Friday the 28th of August. Welcome to a number episode. I don't know, maybe 52. Might be 52. So hi, how are you? I hope everything is fine and good and okay. I am doing good. I talked last week about... well, it had been quite a rough week. And this week has been better. I feel as though I've had more of a forwards momentum, I guess. So that's good. Yeah. I don't know, nothing... Well, there's one thing that happened yesterday that I was thinking I'd talk a little bit more about after the fiber stuff, if you are not very interested in my life. What it was sort of a reunion with my last job, which was interesting and nice. So other than that, not very much has happened, you know, out of the ordinary. I've been working and met with a new group on Tuesday, which seemed, I think it's gonna be good. Yeah, it's been a good week. So, I do have some fiber stuff to show you, and then I will talk a little bit about the cal. So yeah, let's go. I'm so tired. You'll just have to excuse me. I finished the socks that I was working on. I was knitting these out of, and did I bring the ball band? I did not bring the ball band. Svarta fåret, Let's Knit yarn, so it's a Swedish yarn. Yeah. I had made a pair of mittens, of the Gudrun mittens, with this yarn before, so I had the leftovers of that left in the ball. So I was thinking, I thought that they were gonna be shorty socks, so that's why I knit them from toe up and two at a time, so that I could make them as long as possible. And they became long socks. I did actually not exactly run out of yarn. I had like two. I didn't bring them. I had very little yarn left, but I didn't. I ended them way short of playing yarn chicken, though. I didn't do any, you know, cuff. I just knit them straight up and then bound off. So they're gonna roll a bit, but I think that's kind of cute. And I don't know really why, but the legs of the sock are very loose. Which is kind of good, I guess, because I don't really like the high socks, because I hate it when my feet get cold, so I love to wear socks, like knitted socks, but I really, really, really hate when my legs get warm, when my calves get warm. Even in winter, I usually wear, you know, short socks, and then what do you say, like I fold if I wear jeans, for example, I will fold them up so that I usually have, you know, a bit of skin showing on my legs, because I can't stand having them warm. So, well, if I'm cold, I love to, you know, pull on socks though, but I'm usually not cold. So having these kind of loose is a good thing. So yeah, I finished those. It's a Fish Lips Kiss Hill. Excuse me, I think I have some sort of allergic reaction. I was all over the place yesterday, so... I did knit the Fish Lips Kiss Hill. You can see that it looks kind of big. I said this before as well, but these are 64 stitches around the sock. And I knitted the Fish Lips Kiss Hill over 40, so it's pretty much 2/3 of the stitches. and that fits my heel better than doing it over half the stitches. So I finished these socks. I haven't worn them yet, and I haven't actually washed them or blocked them. I just put them on here to show you, because when it's, you know, just plain socks in there, for me, I don't really see a reason to block them. If I knew that I, you know, did something, ate something or spilled something or, you know, whatever, when I was knitting, maybe I'd want to wash them so that the socks are clean, but these are pretty much clean anyway. If I'm gifting, if the socks are a gift, I usually wash them just to, you know, even out the stitches and make them look pretty. And if there is some sort of lace pattern or cables going through or anything, I'll, you know, block, not exactly block them, but wash them and let them dry to make the, well, enhance the stitch definition, I guess. So yeah, I will add these to my sock drawer now, or my sock basket. But these are the only finished knitting objects I have this week, and I need to put them over there without shaking the camera too much, hopefully. And then I have some finished spinning. Well, I do have a swatch as well. I don't usually swatch. I usually just, you know, cast on, excuse me, with the yarn and the needles I think are good. And if it seems good, I do go on, and if it's not good, then I'll rip out, so I'll start over. But I did knit a swatch, and I started this project, so I will talk about it a little later, but this is also kind of a finished object. Then I have some spinning. So I have this yarn, and I was showing you this single last week, and I was working up the second, because I had two bumps of this wool, so 100 grams each. So I was working up the second bump to make a 2-ply. So this is the same yarn, but I had to split it just to, because it wouldn't fit the bobbin. So this one is 226 meters and this one is 212 meters. So it's kind of pretty much the same. So it's a 2-ply and it's 100% wool, and I don't know what kind of wool it is. I got this for my birthday. I also got the same amount of a red yarn that I did spin up a few weeks ago. So I'm thinking I have a plan for these combined with the red ones, but I am very not sure whether that is going to work out, so I'll have to think about it and maybe test a little bit out. Well, yeah. So this is a black 2-ply, and you can see there is some purple or pinkish yarn as well that I just tied it off with. So it's not very much to see, but I'm quite happy with it. So I finished that, and then I had some single left on one of the bobbins. I tried Navajo ply it, but it broke, so I just wound it off as it was, because you can see it's more than just, you know, some end bits. But this is left as a single, so I'm thinking I probably won't use it, but you know, if there are 10 stitches left to bind off or something, I will have this. No. And then I have this other yarn as well, which I had to do the same thing with. So it's the same, but I had to split it to fit the bobbins. So this is wool that I got on Öland when I was there. And if you do remember the yarn that I spun for my mom a few weeks ago, that was sort of pink, lilac-y-ish and green, that I talked about being... I bought it as what would be like pre-yarn, I guess, förgarn, which means it was pretty much all drafted. So, excuse me, I'm sorry. I don't know for sure that they don't do anything else with it before they run it through the spinning mill. but it's pretty much pre-drafted in a way. So I didn't really draft this yarn. I stretched it a little bit as I spun the singles up, but I didn't, you know, draft it. So this was a very quick spin. So you can see it goes, well, it's blue and black. I'd say the blue is a bit more, well, dark and intense, I'd say, in real life than what shows up there. It's a bit more like this royal blue. Well, yeah, more like that. So this is 93 meters and this is 58 meters, and I Navajo plied this, so it's a 3-ply, and I tried making it a high twist, and I think I kind of managed, because it is, if it will focus, you can see that it is kind of a high twist, actually. So yeah, it's a heavier weight. I don't know what it is, but it's kind of heavy. I would probably knit this on 4mm needles or 5mm needles or something like that. And there was something else I wanted to say. I don't know. So this is 100% wool as well, and I don't know what breed or type wool. And I said it's a Navajo ply, so it's a 3-ply. And yeah. And these are still a little damp, so I just wound them up in, you know, like this right now, so I will unwind them again and hang them to dry a bit more. Yes, so that's my finished spinning. And then, if you just excuse me again, I also did make some stitch markers, like super simple. I did post this to Instagram, this little bling. So I got the pendants and the well, it's a lobster claw, and I just put them together, so it's not a big deal, you know. And there's another diamond, and I will just show you these to you very, very quickly. But I had a lot of fun doing this, even though it was a very quick project. And then some, stop dangling, feathers or leaves, I guess, and these lobster claws. And then I had these from before, but with another, what do you say, clasp, lock. That didn't really work for me, so I just switched these over to these lobster claws as well. So I thought that was kind of fun. So I have them in this little tin that will snap. So that's sort of a finished project as well. And then I have 3 works in progress, 2 of which you have seen. So first out is this, the shawl with a bling marker. This is not, well, you could obviously use it as a progress keeper, but this marks the center stitch. So I have done more than just that since last, but not a whole lot more, but some more. I don't know, actually. But it's coming along, slowly but surely. So this is Madeline Tosh lace, and I believe the colorway is Sea Wash. It's coming along. And then I have my twined knitting that you've also seen before. And it is also coming along. I am just about to start. So, okay, so the stripe pattern, these not horizontal, vertical stripes are sort of, you know, the basic pattern. And then I have this border right here, and now I'm just set to do the next thing, which will be in this, it's not a black, it's like a dark gray. So it will be a motif in gray. So this will be mittens, or this will be a mitten, and then I will knit another one. And I am really enjoying the process. I've talked so much about this, so I don't really know what to say. So you do twist the yarn around each other, the strands around each other between each stitch. So it is slower. And you also throw the yarn, which I don't usually do. So it's a new method. So it's kind of slow, but I'm getting the hang of it more and more. And well, this yarn is a bit halo-y, but you can see here on the inside. So here is the pattern, but here is like the normal. So you can see the strands there, that they are twisted and carried along. So it makes for like a double thickness fabric, and it's very dense and not like super stretchy, but the stretch itself is like, I don't know, it's bouncy, I would say. So these are gonna be like really warm mittens, and yeah, it's working out great. I am using, as I've said before, a zip-ply yarn from Öland, which is good for twine knitting. So what that means is, and I just found some VM, like normal yarn, the way it's plied, if you look at it, it will be, so if you have the letter S, and I'm thinking, I don't know if you are mirrored or not, so, but the middle section, so you have, for the letter S, you do have the two like hooks, right? And then the middle section points in one direction, and I don't know if we're in the same direction. And it is anyway the opposite direction of the cross, or the middle part of the Z. So that is the meaning of Z or S plied yarn, that the plies will go in that direction and in that twist. So it's spun mirrored, pretty much. And I don't know, I'm doing something wrong, because when I work this, I am untwisting the plies. And I'm sure I'm not supposed to do that, because why would I be supposed to do that? And that's just kind of annoying. And I don't really know what I'm doing wrong, so yeah. Well, it's coming along anyway, and I'm having a good time doing it. And then I started a new project out of this, or from this, or well, after this swatch. So this yarn is, it looks like that in the skein. So it is einband, or einband, I don't know, loopy. So it's an Icelandic yarn. This is 50 grams per ball, and that is 250 meters, so it's quite thin. That would make 500 meters for 100 grams, and a sock yarn is usually about 420, so it's a bit thinner than a normal sock yarn. And this is very rustic. It's scratchy even. And so I read not on YouTube, the other place, Ravelry, about this yarn, that it, from the way it's milled, spun, I don't really remember the process about it or the facts about it, but the way that it's produced, it softens up and blooms after it's being washed. So that is why I knitted a swatch, even though it's not like a proper big swatch. And I washed it, and it is softer. It's still rustic, but it's soft. And I just soaked this, so I didn't really, you know, well, you're not supposed to, you know, work it when you wash it or it will felt, but I could do a bit more with it, I think, to soften it up even more. So that is why I made a swatch, and also it grew like this swatch grew 3 centimeters, I think, on the width. So that is quite significant. Yeah, so now I've cast on. This is going to be a sweater. And I have a plan. And I really don't have any clue if it will work out. I'm thinking this is going to be a top-down raglan sweater that I want to have, well, sort of like this, but without the buttons, but just have like that, what do you say, a slit. So I am starting it out, working it flat, and then I will join it in the round after, maybe that much or so. And that is pretty much just how far I got. I've done a few increases for the raglan. And then I'm thinking, there is a pattern on Ravelry called something like the Matrix sweater, which then is inspired by the sweaters they wore in the Matrix, which are kind of, well, the thing is they are pretty simple sweaters if you haven't seen them, and then they have dropped stitches that creates these, you know, that runs and makes it look really cool. So I want to do something like that. So I did look at that pattern, and it is for a completely different yarn weight. So I'm thinking I might, and it's a paid for pattern, so if it had been a free pattern I wouldn't hesitate, but since it's a paid for pattern, I'm thinking I might buy it anyway and, you know, do the pretty much use it, but then have completely other stitch counts or numbers of stitches. Or I might figure something out. I haven't really decided yet, because I want to have it just as a simple plain sweater, but with some sort of running stitches. Because I think that's cool. So yeah, obviously I'm not far with this at all, but we'll have to see. So I have 8 balls, I think, of this. And I don't really know how much it'll take either. So we'll see. We'll see. It might be good. And then I do have some acquisitions, I believe is the word I'm looking for. So I did find this yarn. Which is quite ugly. And it is 94% acrylic and 6% polyester. And I'm not one of those who think that acrylic should be banned. I think acrylic has its use, but I don't really like working with acrylic. But this yarn had such a beautiful name that I just had to get it. Yeah? That's my name. Ah, I'm trying to show you both at the same time. I don't know what it is. I'm having very weird pronunciations today. Well, you can see that it is a gray base, and then this outer ply in crazy colors. So I'm guessing, I don't know because it doesn't say, but I'm guessing it's, since it is 94% acrylic and 6% polyester, I'm guessing that it's the colorful thread, which is thinner, is the polyester. But I don't know. So it's not even soft. But I'm thinking I'll do, like, I don't know, hats for charity or something, because it's not, I mean, it's not bad, it's just not, you know, because I was thinking they were wrapped up in plastic when I got them, so I was thinking, you know, maybe like a baby blanket or snuggly or something, but it's not that soft. But for a hat it's completely fine. So yeah, not the most beautiful yarn I've ever bought, but the name was enough to make me get it. And then I did also get, this is not related at all, but I did get this set of well, jewelry parts, pretty much. So there are like these for earrings, and then some other lobster claws and like clasps. If I feel inspired to do some more stitch markers. But I don't know. I just got this. Yes, so that is the February parts. That sounded weird. So Cal. I did talk about this last week. Let me just sit back and pull up my feet under me. I did talk about this last week. And quite a few of you answered and said that you would love, or you'd like, or you'd want to take part in a Cal. So we'll do it. As I said last week, the idea that I had was some sort of, well, fall is coming, and yeah, some sort of, you know, keep happy, make me smile, give me good stuff, sort of Cal. And I say Cal as in knit along, because it's easy. If you would want to be part of it, but you want to crochet or weave or spin, that is fine. I could call it like, I don't know, yarn along, but Cal is, excuse me, Cal is such a usual or common, that is what you usually call it, that's the common way to put it. So I'm gonna call it a Cal, but if you want to do something other than knitting, that's fine. So I did browse through or search on Instagram, and as of, I don't know, half an hour ago or so, when I looked, the hashtag SmileCal was non-existing. So let's do a SmileCal, and we can use the hashtag on Instagram. So the idea is, and again I'm gonna say knit just because, you know, I need to use a word. Knit something that makes you smile, keeps you smiling, makes you feel good. It could be a favorite pattern. So this is a very loose, you know, it could be a favorite pattern, a favorite yarn, a favorite color. It could be something very intricate, like a difficult but intricate lace pattern to, you know, keep your mind busy. It could be something completely, you know, mindless, vanilla, plain, simple, just for, you know, comfort without having to think. It could be a gift for someone that you cherish and who makes you smile. It could be, you know, it's very loose. Just something that brings you some sort of comfort when fall comes is the main idea. So as I said, please use the hashtag SmileCal on Instagram. And then I am going to open up threads in the Ravelry group. There is a Ravelry group, it's called sjomajlin group. And I've said it before, it's not very active, and that is fine. But we will use that, or I will open threads. And if you beat me to it, if you want to post something and I haven't done it yet, go ahead and open the threads, please. Or I will do it. So we can have, if you want to, you know, be able to talk about, I'm doing this because of, if you want to share the story, and you don't, I mean, you could share it on Instagram as well, but maybe you want to do it in the forum, then please do. Yes, and someone posted, you know, why don't start it on the first day of fall? Which I guess is a good thing. However, I've heard that before. The first day of fall, or the first day of summer, or the first day of spring, in like movies and series and stuff. I'm guessing though that is a cultural thing over in the US, because I don't know when that is. we don't do, or at least I've never heard of that. So I don't know what date that is. I could look it up, I guess, but I haven't. So if you want to start it on the first day of fall, please go ahead. But I'm thinking otherwise, if you want to start it now, do it. Or if you want to start it later, do it. Because if you want to do something, you know, big, if you want to do, I don't know, a blanket to keep you warm as November hits, then you might want to start. So go ahead. I am thinking, so I was looking through the dates in November, and we have a Friday the 13th in November. So I'm thinking that will be the closing date, Friday the 13th of November in the month of November. Which will mean that since I'm in Sweden, I'm a good, I don't know, 6 hours ahead or something of you in America. So what I will do is probably close it down on the morning, Saturday morning, to, you know, not leave anyone hanging. But Friday the 13th is the last day, and then I'm thinking I will do the drawing for the next week after that. So that'll be the 20th something. Because this is the first time I'm doing this, so I don't want to have, you know, time pressure to get that right. So it'll be another week before we have some winners of this. And about that, there will be prizes. Excuse me. But hopefully you will participate in this knit along for the project you're making rather than the prizes, you know? And I'm thinking that we might wait a few weeks or a while to see whether the activity is mostly on Ravelry or mostly on Instagram or both, and then, I don't know, mid-October maybe, decide where the entries for the drawing should be. Maybe there will be a separate thread for that in the forum on Ravelry, or maybe I'll pull from the Instagram pictures. We'll see, okay? I hope that's okay. The amazing Benjamin Crodwig of, is it Benjamin Crodwig Fiber Arts, or is it Fiber Design? I think it's Fiber Arts. I'm sorry, Benjamin. Well, anyway, Benjamin is amazing. You can find him on Instagram or Ravelry. He is a designer. He has patterns up on Ravelry. He also has a podcast if you search on YouTube. He offered to donate some of his patterns as a prize. So thank you very, very much, Benjamin. So if you head over to Benjamin's Ravelry designer page, you'll find some patterns. He has patterns that are, he has some that are paid for and he has some that are free. So check that out if you want to make some of his patterns for the Cal. He has both knitting and crocheting patterns as well. So check that out. And as I've said, I'm calling it a Cal and I'm saying knitting, but if you want to crochet or do something else, that is okay. So Benjamin offered 1 or 2 patterns up to the added value of $10. And I looked through his patterns and I don't remember exactly, but I do know that he has like a sweater or a cardigan that is, well, more than $5. So if you choose that, you'll get 1 pattern, and then there are some other patterns that are under $5, then you could get 2. And, well, he didn't say that, but I'm sure you could work it out if, so let's say you want 2 patterns that add up to $13, you could pay, you know, $3. Well, so he offered his pattern is up to a value of $10 as a prize. So, yay! Thank you very much, Benjamin. And I will also but have, I will offer a prize of patterns on Ravelry, giftable patterns online on Ravelry. As I said last week, so that I don't have to deal with, you know, shipping and stuff, because I haven't really worked things out. So sort of a, you know, Ravelry gift certificate for me as well. And hopefully you think that this is okay. So I'm thinking that I won't specify that right now, because if more of you or more people participate, then I'm thinking I might want to add more, you know? So hopefully that's okay. But there will be patterns in the gift, the prize draw. And I will do, you know, a random draw when it's time for that. And then I won't grade it to say, you know, this is the first prize and this is the second prize, but I will do, okay, so now I'm drawing for Benjamin's patterns, or now I'm drawing for, you know? And just, you know, full disclaimer, I will most likely do that offline in that week between the closing date and the next time I record. Just because this is the first time I'm doing this, so I trust, or I hope that you will trust me to be honest and fair about that. But just to, you know, make sure that I get it right and don't mess something up, and I don't have the, you know, time pressure of doing it. Well, it's not on air, but, you know. So yeah, I'm just telling you right now for, you know, full disclosure or disclaimer, what's called? You know what I mean. And hopefully you'll think that that is okay. So that's what I'm thinking for the Cal. And if there are any questions, please ask them and we'll sort it out somehow. But as I've said, if you want to start, go ahead and post pictures and go ahead. And hopefully you'll find it okay that I wait a while to specify where we'll put the, you know, entries for the prize draw. Excuse me. I'm thinking that this Cal is mainly for the, what do you say, togetherness of doing something together, rather than the giveaway or the prize part of it. So hopefully you think that as well, but there will be prizes. Okay, I'm rambling. Hopefully that makes sense and that will be okay. So yeah, go ahead if you wish, or if you want to wait a while, that is okay too. But Friday the 13th of November will be the closing day for that. So it is quite some time left. Yes. And then I want to tell you a little bit about yesterday, as I said before. And I do have something in my eye which is bothering me. Yesterday, one of my... Well, okay, so I've said before that I used to work as, well, a personal assistant. But when I say that in English, what I, you know, see in my mind is more of a secretary type. And that's always the thing in like movies and series, that I'm not a secretary, I'm a I do not mean to be rude or anything, but what I'm saying is what I did is not that. We worked more as, well, nurses or caretakers, I would say, for this person who needed help in his daily life. So the easiest way, I guess, to describe it is that, for example, if someone has a physical disability, maybe someone is in a wheelchair or something like that, they might need someone, I don't know, they might not be able to go grocery shopping because all of the things are up on high shelves, for example. Then they might need someone who goes with them to be, you know, their arms and legs or whatever. So that is a personal assistant. And then someone might have, you know, some sort of, oh, what's the word? What's the word? No, I don't know. It just lost. But they might need some like medical assistance as well. Maybe with some, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they need, you know, a respirator to help them breathe, or maybe they need, you know, some sort of medical, like they might not need, you know, a doctor or a nurse, but someone to just help them keep everything in order. So the man that we used to work with, or that I used to work with, he has a syndrome that gives him different sort of issues. So he could do most things himself, you know, like physically, but he needed, I'm not gonna say surveillance, because that is not true, but he needed support and someone to be there and, well, stop him if he was doing, you know, if it was morally going in the wrong direction, I guess. And then he needed some like physical help as well. So we were a team working around him 24 hours a day. And I quit that job a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago, 2.5, something like that. And so one of those ex-colleagues, she is about to go into retirement. So she had invited me over to her house yesterday, and so she said, everyone's gonna be there. And I thought, yeah, that's fine, but I didn't really know what that meant. I guess that meant like our old working group, which is still pretty much intact except for me. And it was. So it was me and her, and then another colleague who went into retirement before I left, but she was also there. And then the people who work there now, including one new girl that I hadn't met before, and then also the boss and the man that we all worked with, or that the others still work with, but I used to work with. And that was, it was nice, it was lovely, but it also was, it gave me a lot of stuff to think about. So this guy that we used to work with, he has his things. He has some autistic features. And even though, you know, you can always find someone who is willing to work, but to be able to work with him, he needs to trust you. And if he doesn't trust you, then you won't be able to work there. That's basically it. So we have had, and when I worked there as well, we have had problems with, so we needed to have someone, you know, to call if someone got sick or whatever. But it wouldn't work because he wouldn't trust them. So it's been quite difficult. Well, anyway, so when I walked in there, he was so happy. He didn't know that I was coming, and he was like, ah! And ran up to hug me and asked, and he's very, you know, he asked about my parents and how everything is, and one of my co-workers that I have now that he knows, and he had so many questions, and he was so happy to see me, which felt so good. And then as we sat talking, we were, how many were we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people maybe, something like that. And we sat, you know, talking, all of us, and he would mostly talk to me. And pretty loudly so that everyone would hear, and yeah. And that just made me so happy, you know, to feel that. Because we all, we were there because of the colleague who had her birthday, and, you know, but still he is the one thing that, you know, keeps us together, or our main, you know, the center of the group somehow. And he was focusing a lot of his attention on me, and that just made me feel, because the thing is, okay, the reason that I quit that job maybe 2.5 years ago, something like that, was that the boss, you know what, I'm not gonna talk badly about anyone, because that is not my style, but there were things going on that were not fair, and that was, you know, and instead of, yeah, I just did not have the energy left to deal with that, so I quit. Because it was bad. So for him pretty much telling the whole group that Maya was pretty much one of the best assistants that I've ever had. He didn't say that, but it was clear that he was saying that. That made me feel so good, actually. So that was a very interesting evening yesterday, and we had a really good time. And so tonight I've had such intense dreams, and I was dreaming that I was back at work with him and that we were going through stuff, and it's been intense, you know, inside. And I was actually a little bit nervous going there, because I didn't know because I was not very keen to meet the boss lady again. And I didn't know that, I thought she would be there, but I didn't know for sure, and she was there, and yeah, I felt as though I've got, you know, just that little hint of a revenge. Well, not a revenge, but you know what I mean, I hope. So yeah, that was, and I did post, I posted yesterday as I was going to bed on Instagram something like, this has been a good day. And that was, I've been thinking, there are so many thoughts, you know, running through my mind about, because that was such a huge decision for me to take back then, that I needed to quit that job. I think it was like 2 weeks that I hardly slept, or I did sleep, but just a few hours every night, because there was so much going through, or going into making that decision. And when I did, I haven't regretted it since. And yesterday I was, you know, reminded of that, even though I sort of miss him and I miss my colleagues, and I really like that type of job, and the job I'm doing now is nothing like that. But still, it was the right decision, I think. So yeah, that was good. Yeah. And I don't really know what else to say. As I've said, this is Friday, and I need to, well, get this up in the computer and start doing that thing. And I want to I need to clean my apartment. I need to do some paperwork for the job. I posted this to Instagram as well. I do have like 650 pages that needs to go to these, what are they, like plastic pockets, do you say that? You know, you can put a paper in them and then you can like put them in a binder. I'm not gonna put them in a binder, but I'm gonna like clip them together so that there will be songbooks. So I have 750 pages that needs to go one by one into these plastic pockets or covers or whatever they're called. That just needs to be done, and it's so boring. The good thing is though, I could totally be watching, you know, podcasts or a movie or something at the same time. So yeah, and then I'm going to visit my Friday group and sing with them this afternoon, and that is going to be lovely. So I'll get to that. And I do hope that you will have a lovely weekend and week ahead. And thank you very much for stopping by. And get in contact with me if you want to. I'm sjomajlin, as I said, on Ravelry and Instagram. Feel free to message me or comment here on YouTube, and like and subscribe and, you know, all of that. And take care of yourselves, be kind to yourselves and to one another. Don't forget to use the hashtag #SmileCal if you want to join in the cal. And yeah, have a really good time. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye!